Hello, this is Campbell, and I want to share with you a few thoughts about following up and following through. Now, this is a critically important skill. It is something that can be learned. I'm going to give you the essence of it here, but you're also going to need to practice this. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going to get this perfect. You may go your whole life and never become perfect at this. What's important is that you're constantly working it. You're constantly struggling with it, because that's going to help keep you on track. Now, little bit of groundwork here. I was always taught, and I think it's critical, that you take sometime on Sunday and get into a routine. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, something. Take an hour, sit down with your significant other. You get your calendar out. That person gets their calendar out, and you go and you organize your week. I even used to do this with my teenage kids. We'd sit down, we'd talk about, okay, what kind of ball games do you have coming out? What's coming up? What's going on? We'd sit down, we'd have Sunday dinner, and we get our calendars out. Okay? Now, the reason for doing that is that this plans out your week. Okay? Now, if you want to achieve your goals, and that's a whole other subject, but you figure out where you want to be at the end of the year, and then you back it up and you work that into weekly units, because you can control a day, you can control a week. If you get off a little bit today, you can readjust tomorrow. But if you wait for 6 months and go, I'm not on schedule, that's hard to recover. So every Sunday, you make your weekly plan, get everything coordinated. You schedule your date night, you schedule your church time, you schedule your family time. You've put everything in there. If you need to go shopping for presents, birthday presents on Thursday because you got to go to a family party on Saturday, you've got it all in there now. You can plan, okay? The other thing is that every night, while I'm winding down, relaxing, I've probably had a long day. Maybe I've been on a construction site, or maybe I'm working in my marketing business all day long. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of tired. I take my calendar, I take my pad, okay? And one of the things that I personally do, where is it here? One of the things I personally do is I take, when I'm sitting on Sunday, and I take a pad like this, they're cheap, and I write down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I can make notes reminding myself a little more detail on what I want to do on that day of the week. Okay? So then I've always got that with me. I've always got my calendar, I've got my pad, I've got my phone. I make sure my appointments and things get in my phone, but I need backup. That's just me, okay? If I've just got it in one place, I might lose it, okay? Now, when I'm talking to people, I'm writing their names down, I've got it in my phone. I need to transfer that into a management system, and I've seen all kinds of these. I've seen some CRMs, customer resource management software. I've seen boxes with 3x5 cards. I've seen Post-it notes. I've seen marker boards with names on it, moving them from one area to another. I prefer to use a spreadsheet. Now, the reason I do that is because it's easy to sort, and it is easy to organize, and I can print it out. I can change it and print out the new page, okay? If you're not used to doing that, fine. Use a piece of paper and pencil. I did that for years. I had a list like this, and I would just, do it by hand. It's okay. Look, you're going to be dealing with hundreds of people, but you're really focusing on maybe 20 of your hots in every given week. Now, you're adding more people to the list, but you're constantly evaluating, what are my 20 hottest places to work? Okay? You always want to be working in your hots. Your goal, though, is to be moving people. If they're not hot, you move them out. If they're warming up and they're getting hot, you're moving them into that list. Now, so let's talk. I'm going to stop here and I'm going to flip over and do a screen share, because I want to show you how I use this spreadsheet. Okay. This is a spreadsheet. This is my task list. I've actually got different things here. I've got a task list. I've got my names, okay? So this is how I do this. As soon as I've got a contact, okay, I usually write, I'm driving around. I don't have this in front of me. I'm writing on my scratch pad or something. But at the end of the day, I transfer that information in here. And I've got their name, I've got their phone number, I've got some kind of a note about them, okay? They're in Los Angeles, they're in San Francisco, and they have graphics. Something, it can be different things. But I've got some kind of a little note here probably about everybody. The other thing that I put in here is I put sponsor. Now, you might not have this at first, but a lot of the people I'm talking to, I'm following up because they're down in depth in my organization. I want to know whose team they are in, and I want to know who's their sponsor. So I might come in here and I might put in Shuja and Tim. Okay, now that means it's in Shuja's group and Tim is their sponsor, something like that. I just want that in here. Now I've got dates here, okay? And the first column, the first date is when I gave them the links. The second day is, is 2 days later, and then 7 days later. Now, here's what I do. I've got my HOTS. I keep them up. As soon as I have some kind of contact, more than just my initial connection. In other words, I've had some conversation with them, texting, I'm on a video call, I'm on the telephone, something, I leave that conversation with an agreement that I'm going to follow up with them in a couple of days. So I'm going to put it in here and I'm going to say, I gave them the links on 1/24/19. Okay? Now, 2 days later, obviously, is 1/26/19. Are you with me so far? Now, I can sort this. So I'm going to come and I'm going to put some different things in here. 1/15/19, 1/25/19, 1/6/19, 1/15/19, 1/20/19. Okay? So 2 days later is obviously 1/17. It's formatted wrong. Okay, so 2 days later is 1/17. 2 days later is 1/27. 2 days later is 1/8. 2 days later, you follow what I'm doing? So now, oops. $122. Now, watch how this works. I'm going to save this off. I can sort this. Now, the other thing I'll do is I come over here and I make these my HOTS. So this might be, I might put a 1 here, I might put a 1 here, I might put a 2 there, 2, a 3, and a 4. No 4s. Okay, now, I want to show you how we can sort this. I'm going to highlight this field. Number. It doesn't make any difference what I put there. So what I do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to sort this. I'm going to go to Data, Sort. Now you see this pulls down a sort criteria. If I want to sort by column G, I'm going to sort by G. Now watch what happens. You see how this jumped around? And I've got right here where I have the dates in order where I contacted them. Now what that does is I can go down here and I can see what dates I need to sort and how I need to put that together. Okay? Does that make sense? So at the end of the day, I can go in here and I can sort real quick. I can put some values in here, see who I need to talk to next, And if I'm going into a period of time, see, and I'm on the 24th of January right now, I'm not going to have these people in here. I will have moved them out. I'm just doing this for an example, okay? But this will tell you, real quick how you're following up. If I talk to them, I gave this person John Smith. I talked to John today, had a conversation, told him I'm sending him a link. We agreed I'm going to touch base with him in 2 days. So I need to get a hold of him on the 26th. If I talk to John on the 26th and he has not looked at the information yet, he's not ready to talk about it, I say, great, I understand. Will you have time to do that in 1 week? Okay, he'll say yes. Then I jump forward, and the 26th might be, let's see, January 31st. Let's say I say 2/4/19. I'm just going to throw a date in there. Now I've got this date in there. When it gets close to that date, I'm sorting this every day to see who do I need to follow up with tomorrow. Okay, so this is a really simple system that you can use to do that. The other thing you can do here is you can create a value equals that date plus 7. That'll tell you what those dates are. So if I talk to them on the 26th, bingo, that would have been on the 2nd. So I know going into that situation what those dates are. And you can set this up. I just threw this together real quickly so that I could have a blank one to show you basically what I do. But that is the way that you can use a spreadsheet really easily. And then you just go through here and you highlight, and you can print out your top 10 or top 20, whatever it is you're working on at that time. You've got their phone numbers right there. You've got their name, a little bit of information. You know who their sponsor is in the relationship, and you know what the follow-up dates are. Make sense? Makes it really simple. It's fast. Once you get in the habit of doing this, it's a piece of cake. Okay? So, there's a discussion about following up, why it's so critically important, a simple way of doing this using a tool that you can put on your phone. I mean, there are apps that you can put on your phone for spreadsheets. This is a simple spreadsheet. Doesn't need to be difficult. Works a little bit easier on a tablet, works a little easier yet on a laptop or a computer, but this is something anybody can do. If you don't have that, if you're not to that level yet, grab a piece of paper, get a calendar someplace, and do it that way. But whatever you're using, do it with consistency and do it deliberately. Okay? This is Val Campbell. If you have any questions about this, please get a hold of me and ask, and we'll help you figure out some way of making a system work for you. Okay? Talk to you soon.